people, out of which 2 are you and me. So I see 8 people joining. So I'm fine if we can wait for a minute or two so to see that if more people are joining, and maybe after 2 minutes we can start, just so that no one loses on that information. So what's your take, Lala, on this AI thing, ChatGPT?
No, I feel like it's a very good assistant. I see it that way.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
not like something which will. It might replace some redundant, work, or I even say job, but not to that extent where we should fear it. It's more of like, how do you utilize it? It's like a new tool which we
Mm.
should use it to the maximum, which I have been doing a lot. I've been using it a lot to my professional and personal benefit to some extent. I
Right.
will, share those maybe offline, but I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
one project which I'm working on, which has helped, which ChatGPT has helped me a lot.
Mm.
It's about publishing. So
Yes. Yeah.
So what happens is people will keep on joining, even uh, almost at the end of the session. Also, people will keep on joining.
No
so
problem.
so
So
that's why,
maybe it's too past.
yeah.
So yeah,
All right, then
maybe we can.
let's join. Um, so good morning, everyone. Chibai. Uh, we are very happy and pleased to have all of you who have come and join us on the next webinar on so today's topic would be on IT infrastructure, right? So I also extend a warm welcome to Cesar. He's a good friend of mine. We are batchmate in the executive MBA at IIT Bombay in Washington University. I would reserve, or I would rather request him to have his own self introduction so that I don't miss out some important points. So I will hand it over to you, Cesar, in maybe in like 50 seconds. So before that, let me just quickly take our participants through what is Arise Lamka and what are we planning to do, right? And how are we going to execute this project? So Arise Lamka is an education project. It's a not-for-profit kind of initiative where we are trying to help people, especially students who are currently in the 8th standard, who are currently the 8th standard till maybe undergrad, or who have recently completed a graduation. So we are targeting students in that range. They should. I'm also narrowing my scope here so that I can cover at least a few students who are in and around Lamka, which is the name of the town where I was born and where I grew up. That's why I have that linkage to that. So we the plan of executing Arise Lamka project is will be done through 3 phases. Right? The phase one or the stage one would be what we are doing right now, which is informing the students what are the different kind of career opportunities that is available in India, or maybe sometimes even abroad also. Right? So informing the student, of the different kind of career opportunities or options that is available in the world, right? So that which they can take up. So second is equipping them, so and then guiding them, mentoring them on how to get into those colleges or maybe how to apply for those jobs. And third is launching them. So when I say launch, I'm trying to extend maybe some financial help, if I can raise enough funds, uh, and 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 the irony, or let's say the good thing is, Cesar had contributed to Arise Lamka, and then that was the first free will donation which we have received, and we want to say thank you to Cesar also for that. Yes, it has been very inspiring for a small initiative like this, when people started, donating, or let's say, I'm not saying not only the money part, but the moral support which I have received from friends and colleagues has been very, it has been immense so far. So, okay. So without further much ado, I would, request Cesar to start with his introduction, and then we will go ahead with the discussion. And what we request, from everyone is, if we can switch on our camera if possible, because we want to have a discussion, not like a lecture, but more of like a discussion, wherein let's discuss things and then share ideas, share knowledges, right? And that's what we are planning to do here. Okay, over to you, Cesar.
Thank you, Lal, for giving this opportunity, and I'm happy to be a part of uh, you know your project or our project. So, Lal, what I would request you is if you can share this presentation from your side, so I can just see if people are joining. So that would be easier for me. So
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
Lal, yeah,
Yeah, I will. While you do your introduction, let me quickly, download and share. Okay.
yeah. So actually, it's part of that presentation as well, like in short. Uh, okay, I'll start with a brief introduction about myself. I am Shehjad Sayyed. Uh, I am in IT industry, like for about 20 years now. I am doing the network architecture. So specifically, I am into networking stream. What do you mean by networking? Is consider like your phone. Okay, how you use your phone. You just have a phone, but then you are connected to the whole world. How that happens is there are wireless and wired connections. Okay, so just like your cable TV, you have a wire. So that's wire, and with your phone, that's a wireless connection somewhere. So my role is like wired and wire connection, not for your phone, but in networks in generally. So that's what networking is about. It is connecting you know one person to the other across companies, across the internet, or one device to the other across the internet. So I build that connectivity part throughout. So I am in this industry since 20 years, and I have done good certifications into that. My uh, biggest achievement was doing my CCIE in networking, which is kind of doing a PhD in networking.
Okay.
So and that's been like 10 years now. Uh, so yeah, I'm happy to be a network engineer and a learner. I have never stopped even after doing that. I learn daily, like I learn daily on a regular basis. Even today, and with Lal, I'm doing my MBA. That's on the business side, but on a technical side also, I upgrade and update myself. So that's what is required in IT. Lal can vouch for that. You have to be a student for life.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's a bit about myself.
Okay. Just what I'm planning to do is, I have joined from another account, and I'm trying to share it from there, so that like you, I can also see all the
Yeah,
participants, right? So
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah.
just loading the image. What about your family? Maybe if you would like to give something on that side also, if you would like to.
So yes, I so we are a family of four, me, wife, and my two kids. I have elder daughter, and she's in grade 5,
Okay.
and my son is in grade 2. So
And
like we yeah.
you have been living, staying in Pune for the whole time, or you have moved somewhere else also?
Oh yes. So for most of the time I've been in Pune, but uh, the company which I'm working right now, it's called TomTom. So
Yeah.
that's a map making company in Europe. So I have been to Europe many times. I have stayed there.
Okay.
So I've been across Europe. Different culture to study. It's not only about technical things that you learn.
Mm.
So there are different aspects to grow personally and professionally. It's always good to have the different cultures, and connect to people across the world, within
Mm-hmm.
India, outside India. So that gives you different perspectives.
Okay.
Yeah. So mostly Europe, and for the first time, maybe we will travel to the US
Ah, nice.
in June. Yeah. Yeah.
True, true.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know, like, still loading. I'm trying to download from
So
the website.
maybe no problem. So what I'll do is let me share then if it's a problem for you. So let me share that then. Is this visible, Lal?
Yes, it's it's perfect.
Okay. I haven't been to Lamka, but I imagine Lamka should be something like this.
Yeah.
I hope so. So yeah, Rise Lamka. Thank you, Lal, for giving this opportunity, and I'll be talking more on IT infrastructure. I have given a brief about me personally and professionally, so I'll skip this. The main intention of this presentation is how is this helpful for for the participants who have joined, for the students. Uh, Lal has done a good initiative wherein he is trying to bring in expertise from all walks of life. I remember, like, he has done similar sessions with you on military and the defense part, on merchant navy, on the Bollywood and Hollywood industry, film industry. So very diverse thing. It's good to know everything. So in this talk, we will be talking more on IT infrastructure, and this will help you, identify some. This will help you identify some, uh, in brief, if not in detail, and give you some grounds to start the career in IT infrastructure. So, what is IT infrastructure? So maybe I want you to talk on it, if that's fine. What do you people understand about IT infrastructure? If anyone wants to talk, so please unmute and talk.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
able to see, but then that's fine. I
Yeah.
can hear. So
Let's do that. Uh,
yeah,
let's have a discussion. Yeah. So anyone, let's. What do you think is IT infrastructure?
and that's fine if you're wrong. So I never shy away with asking questions and whatever I think. So it's fine. Please, I want to understand how you what is your thinking on IT infrastructure. Don't be shy. Just talk. This is just a talk. I'm not a teacher lecturer. I'm just one of you. Maybe I'll meet you sometimes in Lamka, or wherever you are. This is your opportunity just to talk and interact. Uh, I can't see. Is anyone talking, Lal?
No, not
Okay,
yet.
then no problem. Then let me just give a brief what is IT infrastructure. So first of all, let's understand what is infrastructure. Infrastructure is anything that you can use touch and feel, just like your road. Okay, your homes, your building, your water supply system, your electrical systems, where you get your lights, where you get your water supply, the roads you travel, that is infrastructure. Okay, and specifically IT infrastructure is all the devices that enables IT, just like you pick up your phone and Google something. How is that possible? So that is because of IT infrastructure. There are parts of it I'll explore in the next slide, but IT infrastructure is all about the hardware, or the things that you can use to develop your applications. So there are two things to it. If you have a laptop, so your laptop itself cannot do anything. It has to have an operating system, just like in your mobile you have Android, or maybe if you are using Apple you have iOS. So the phone itself is a hardware, that's the infrastructure, and the software on it which runs the hardware. Okay, that together makes your infrastructure, hardware and software. So that gives you a basic element to use anything. So after using a phone like an Android phone, a phone and Android OS on it, or an Apple phone and iOS on it, then you can use softwares. You can use Google, you can use YouTube. So those are applications which are built on this hardware and software, like basic things. So hardware and the software that runs in general is called as IT infrastructure. There are many things to it which we can dwell into it. And what is the importance of IT infrastructure? Think about IT, before before your computers. I'm not talking even of the phones. Like before that, everything was very uh, slow in pace. So what IT has enabled is connectivity, seamless connectivity. You can connect with everyone and anyone throughout this world. So, and it is important to understand how things work end to end, and how this IT infrastructure can be a place for you to build your career. So that's about IT infrastructure and the importance. How you can, after understanding what are part of IT infrastructure, how you can go and have your career build into IT infrastructure.
Okay.
Maybe Lal, if you have any points into it, you can add.
Uh,
I tried to make it
okay.
simple.
Yeah. So I can add a few things. IT
Yes.
infrastructure, at a very basic level, it's about, the servers that we have. Or let's say, I have a desktop, I have a laptop, and I have a phone. So those are my infrastructure wherein how do I connect and let them talk to each other. Right? So now if we expand this to a very large scale, let's say companies having thousands of computers, it can be laptops or it can be desktops in their offices, and how do you connect them, how do you keep them secure, how do you like I said, share information, share data, documents or anything among this network. So it's like a closed network. So how do you do that, and what are the hardware as well as the software which is required. So all these things combined is what I understood as infrastructure or IT infrastructure. So we have in our midst we have people from corporates also. See some from banks, even not only student but some of my friends
Okay.
also. So I would request them also to sort of like share their
Yeah.
views as well as suggestions, or if any comments is there, please feel free to join the discussion. Yeah, back to
Yeah,
you.
it's always good to understand. Yeah, thank you, Lal, for adding up. It's always good to understand from people working in actually working. So they also give their perspective, and it's always good to have some analogy. And it's always good. You can understand if you give the practical things to understand, just like a phone or a laptop. It's part of our IT infrastructure. Yeah, good point. So shall I move?
Yeah, I think I'm the one who is now presenting, so you will let me know when to
Okay.
move to the next one.
Okay, so maybe I'll stop sharing. Yeah, I have stopped sharing. So maybe Lal, you can. Oh, okay. You are presenting now. Good. Good.
So should we move to the next one?
Yes, please. Yes, as we, Lal also talked about what is IT infrastructure in general. It is servers, networks, and storage systems. So what do we mean by that? Just like your phone or a laptop, this is we call it as end devices. These are only means to connect to something else. For example, if you are using Gmail, okay, so you're just using your browser and connecting to Google Gmail, or Google or Gmail or Yahoo or anything. So actually, when you connect to that service, you are actually connecting to the servers. Okay, even for your banking system. When we are doing our transactions, we connect to say ICICIbank.com, and that URL actually takes us and connects to the servers. How does it takes? Using networks. The connection is made using networks. The servers are where actually the fulfillment of done, and there is always requirement to store something. Even for example, you have your phone or laptop, you may be having some external disk, like if your disk gets full, so you have a OTG USB disk, you have external hard disk. So that is in general storage systems, but in actually in IT infrastructure, that is like huge pool of storage. Like there are huge devices uh, which store the data. There is huge device. There are huge pool of devices which connects our end devices, your phone, your laptop, to the servers where you actually get. So in general, these are part of the IT infrastructure. So very simple, you can understand, like uh, networks, servers, and storage. Where is it used? It is used in everywhere now. Like no part of anything is untouched by these things. Even if you go to a small shop, they will be having some system to it. Even they are running some laptop, they'll be connecting to servers, networks everywhere. So IT is touching every part of your life. Even if you go to a cafe, like internet cafe I'm talking about, not the cafe. So in internet cafe you see like 10, 20 machines. So those machines are connected to each other via some small device, a network. So that's a small network. There is a server which takes care of how you are connecting, and they also have local storage as well as remote storage. So in general, these constitutes the IT infrastructure. So this is just the hardware part. There are software parts of it as well. And as I said, where is it used? It is, you can see it everywhere. Lal, next slide, please.
Okay.
I mean, if someone has any questions on this, so they can just ask. And you can stop me anytime, even if I'm
Mhm.
talking. You can stop me anytime and ask questions. That's fine.
Let's give them 1 minute to ask question.
Yep.
Anyone who wants to speak, to ask question or give a comment, or you can unmute yourself and speak, or you can use the chat box and then speak there also. So any questions till this time, till this point? Okay, I think we should proceed. Yeah, back to you, Cesar.
Okay. Thank you. So after this, okay, what are the roles like one? And this is, believe me, this is not the exhaustive and the only list. There are tons and tons of specialization and things that can be done. So this, don't believe that this is the only list, but this is in general what people do. Just for networking, there is an option for network engineer. That's a role. For servers, managing servers, it's called like, system admin. Uh, for storage, as I told, there are storage admins. I've not, as I told, it's not exhaustive and the only list. I've just tried to put what are in general roles. Cloud architect, yes, this is coming up like huge in last decade. So cloud, you can think of not the cloud, but what we have used earlier as well. Gmail, for example, or Google. So think of it like you are using someone else's service. So that's a cloud for us. You are not utilizing any, you are not having your own server or your own storage. You are just using Google, Gmail, and that's someone else's server. You are utilizing that server. Uh, and if you want to have a storage of more than what the free limit is, you have to pay for it. So consider like in your photos or in your Gmail, if the limit crosses 15 GB of your data, then Google say now you have to buy because that limit is done. So what you're doing is paying someone to use their service. So that's in general what is a cloud. It consists of servers, network, storage, everything what we covered in general. So that in general is a cloud. So now this is important, security analyst. Forget about analyst, but we will talk a bit about security. So what will you secure if you don't know the basics? Okay, so you have to know, if not very deep, but you have to have understanding of servers, the operating system, your endpoints like your laptop or your mobiles. You have to understand a little bit of networking. You have to understand a little bit of storage, because these are the systems that you need to secure. So a security person has to understand a bit of everything, because if the person doesn't understand what it needs to secure, then how will that person secure it? So security is like you have to understand everything. These are specializations. Network is like a very specific job to connections, connectivity, and system admin is for servers. Storage admins are for storage. As I said, in cloud, you have everything: server, storage, networking. So a cloud consists everything. So you, for being a cloud architect, you have to understand everything: system, network, storage, everything. And same for security, you have to understand everything, because that is something uh, you have to secure. So that's in general for these roles. And then there is data center technician. So what is a data center? Uh, just like your, as I told, like, internet cafe, what you're doing is you are going in an internet cafe and utilizing the service someone is giving to you, utilizing the servers there. A data center is something, can be like, a room wherein they will provide you uh, space. It requires cooling, it requires electricity. So they will give you that space, cooling, electricity, and then you put, like a company like mine, put their servers into that space, put the network devices into that space, put the storage devices into those spaces like hardware. So that constitutes a data center. For physically, you have to put your devices somewhere. So in general, that is a data center. So when I say cloud, so cloud again is someone else's data center that we are using. We just don't know where it is. Okay. So these are uh, network is specific, system specific role. Cloud is like you have to understand all three things: network, system, storage. Security, you have to understand all three things. Data center technician is something like a physical thing. You have to understand the space, cooling, power requirements, how you can utilize minimum energy and have efficient data. And there goes a lot of things. So data center is generally a physical thing, but yes, there is a requirement in that role. Any questions on these things, on roles? And as I told you, these are not the only roles. You will see like someone DevOps engineer, so they do a little bit of cloud thing and automation thing as well. Lal, so maybe we can move to next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about what is IT infrastructure, what are into its servers, the roles. Now the responsibilities, skills, education, and certification. I'll talk one on each. Believe me, managing an IT infrastructure is a big responsibilities because you're not only responsible just for your own thing. Say for example, there is a company, or for example, here we are, I see like, we are 15 people now, right now, and we are talking on important thing. Suddenly, this Google Meet ends because of some issues. So that's a waste of time for you and me, and we will be angry with what Google is doing. Now consider it for like 150 people. Consider it for 1500 people in a company who are working. Suddenly everything stops for them because of some problem in the IT infrastructure. So big, that's a huge risk. That's a big thing, and that it's a critical thing. So managing IT infrastructure is a big responsibility. So that one needs to understand it's not a small thing. Like anyone can go and anything can happen. It is working behind. We don't know till something till something gets really bad, or it's not working. So that's a big responsibility to work in IT infrastructure. But then again, there are good gains that you get out of it. You understand better things. You get paid for managing those things. So I can remember uh, the say from the Spider-Man with what's that, Lal? With great powers, comes great
Comes great
responsibilities.
responsibilities.
Yeah. So having when you are managing an IT infrastructure, that's power to you, but then it's a very big responsibility. So that one should understand those things, and you know with experience you gradually get to know. No one will put you in power in responsible position. If you are a fresher, they will say, okay, manage the laptop or a phone, so that's only one user gets affected. So the moment you graduate out of those things, then they say, okay, now you manage this facility of 100 people or 1,000 people. uh, so for that, how can you do that? For that, you need to gain skills. By skills, what I mean is you need to understand networks in deep, or you need to understand servers in deep, or you need to understand storage in deep. Whatever things are required to handle the IT infrastructure. You start with one responsibility, like one thing, one part of IT infrastructure, go deep into it, and then gradually move ahead in your path. So how can you attain those skills? There are two things: education and certifications. What do I mean by that? Why I have written education and certifications? In general, in India, uh, uh, there is as we are a country of 140 billion people. So there are a lot of people out there. So what the company do is they just as a filtering criteria. It doesn't mean that no one is capable, but as a filtering criteria, what they ask is, okay, only graduates can apply for this position. Okay, what they are trying to do is just filter out. If there are 100 jobs and you have 1,000 people, how will you select them? So what they do is just, okay, when they say, okay, we just want graduates, so maybe 500 people are not graduates, so those 500 people are gone, and only 500 people are eligible to apply for those positions. Because there are companies like Wipro, Infosys. What they do is they have freshers program wherein you just need to have your graduation. I'll talk on more on that. So you need to be some graduate, and they say, okay, come and give an aptitude test, and then they will take your test. They will understand, okay, if this person is a good fit for a job. They don't need to have gauge your skills on those particular things. They just need to understand, is this candidate flexible? If we, how this candidate thinks, is he good in some basic mathematics skills, reasoning thing, how the person can think and reason across things. So that's something that they want. So that's their criteria, and then what they do is they train you. These companies train freshers onto specific things: network security, storage, servers. They do the training for you, but then they ask for a basic graduation thing. uh, and in IT infrastructure, it doesn't matter whichever graduate you are. Like, it doesn't matter if you have done your BA, like arts, or you have done your commerce, or science, or even, I have seen people from law background also. People has done LLB and come to uh, IT infrastructure things. Doesn't matter which field you are. So that's open. Saying that, what will benefit you is an education. If you have done your education, like I'm talking about graduation, not the 10th and 12th, 10 plus 2. Lal, what is there in Manipur? How do you say? Like here we say 10 and, like 12th.
We say it like class 10, class 11, class 12.
Okay. And then graduation, like your
Yes,
okay,
BSc.
same thing. Okay. So, but it's better that if you are a science graduate, because in IT infrastructure, you have few things, to understand, how bits and byte, how computers work. So it's better if you have a degree in computer science. Doesn't matter, like BSc in computer science. You can have BCA, MCA, engineering. B is also fine. So it doesn't matter. So I say, a graduation is a minimum requirement. You can be a graduate in any field: arts, commerce. This is for those students who have already passed. But if someone is just in 10th and want to come into IT infrastructure, so I'll suggest, like, it's better to go into a science stream. And specifically in science stream, it's better if you go into uh, the IT courses: BSc in computer science, BSc in IT, engineering in IT, BCA, MCA. There are a lot of things, and there are graduations coming out which says, like, okay, we are giving bachelor's in IT, and what is it, artificial intelligence and data science. Also, I have seen, like, there are degrees which says, okay, this is a degree in data science, this is a degree in artificial intelligence. So that's fine. So what I say is, for people who have already done, any graduation is fine. Who has yet to do, so better to do it in computer science things. So that's education background. You will get good understanding in IT infrastructure. Any questions on that?
Uh, yeah, let me take that first opportunity. So, in terms of education, uh, is there any preferred university or colleges that we should do it from, or what exactly, what kind of courses? I know, like, you said computer science, uh, but can we do it from any university and be able to compete with other students from other, I don't know, like more from a more
Good
prestigious
question, Lal.
university?
So yeah, so maybe you're talking about distance learning. Is this something you're talking about?
Not actually. Let's say, I think
Okay.
in my state also, there would be some courses on computer science at the graduation level. But compare that to, let's say, some more prestigious colleges in and around, outside of the northeast part of India. So if
Hmm.
people are graduate from there, I don't know, like the syllabus or maybe the method of teaching might be better than it is comparing about the urban and the rural, degrees. Like, will they have the same kind of, opportunity to succeed there, or do you, let's say, recommend, let's say, if you have to do a course or a degree, then it's better to it from a particular university or colleges?
Okay, that's a good question. So I won't suggest doing distance education because at many places they don't recognize degree of a distance education. So better not to do a distance education. That's one. Then talking about if you are studying in a college in your local city. So in IT it's very open. They don't ask like where have you studied. As long as that degree is granted under UGC, like University Grants Commission, that college and that degree is known. Like BSc Computer Science is known, uh, or BCA is known, MCA is known. So do some known degrees. That's one part. If you are doing it from a local college in your area, that's still fine. But when you do it from like good colleges, so you get maybe two or three things. First is uh, you get people from across different regions. You also not only technical things, you also develop the cognitive things like how people from other states are, how to talk. So it's not only about technical things, but your personal growth and professional growth and how you interact with people. That's one. If you go to bigger colleges, urban cities. Second is you are exposed to many things. Like in Pune, there, even if that's an average college, but then the exposure is so much that there are competitions held across Pune, across colleges. So the people studying in an average college also know, okay, there is a competition, I need to go there and at least see, if not compete. So then people go there and see what are people doing out there. Okay, so that's a good thing in bigger colleges. The third thing is in bigger colleges, if they have placement opportunities, so you don't need to go out and fight for jobs. So in bigger better colleges you get that opportunities directly. Not saying that your local colleges are not good, but then you have to study. As I told you, placement you probably won't get from there. The second thing is, as I told, the exposure which you get in urban cities and even in an average college, that you get to know a lot of different things happening apart from your curriculum, the extracurricular activities, which are also in line what you are doing. So you get to know. So these two things would be missing. But then even if you are in your local colleges, you have to uh, do studies on your own. Today everything is available online, so it's not a problem of availability of content. For free you have YouTube videos, or for even 500 rupees you can get good Udemy courses. But it's about the time where you are investing and which direction are you going. So
Yeah.
there are benefits of going to a bigger college, but if someone is like don't want to go, or is not capable of going to that colleges, so it's still fine if you are doing in your own college. The degree should be uh, known under UGC, and you have to struggle yourself, like you have to study yourself for that matter. Because in bigger companies they just ask for, okay, are you a graduate, and they recognize, okay, BSc or MCA or BE. So they won't ask which university you have done.
Yeah, makes sense. Uh,
Is that clear, Lal, or maybe you can add more?
sure, sure. Let's add more. So I have
Yeah,
one questions from one of our participants. He has put it in the chat. He says he is asking, is a degree necessary to get into the IT field? Like degree versus certifications.
good question. See, we are in India. We are not in Europe or US. It doesn't matter if you have done your degree. They only care about the skill what you bring to the table. Are you able to do this job? They don't care about degree. But in India, as I told, I started because if there are 100 jobs, there will be 1,000 or 10,000 people applying for that job. Okay, so what they say is, okay, are you a graduate? So like out of that, 10,000 people, if 5,000 people are not graduate, so they'll filter out. So it's easier for them to now select from those 5,000 people. Okay. Now they will say, okay, you are graduate, but are you maybe B? Have you done your BE or MCA? So like out of that 5,000, only 1,000 people, I'm just putting up the numbers, but you got my point. Only 1,000 people will be eligible for that position. So what education in such things like in bigger companies they are trying to do is they're just trying to filter out people, who are not. For that reason, it's good to have an education. I'm not saying that that's the only reason. You gain knowledge out of it, but it's always good to be a graduate. It's recognized in India, and if you get some opportunity, so education is best. So that's just one criteria. It doesn't guarantee you that you will get a job there. On top of it, if you have certifications, which I have not touched, but what certification will do? Say, for example, if you are a fresher. So let me take a step back. Have I answered the education part? If that's okay for you, you understand what I'm trying to say? Why an education like a degree is required?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So it's always good to have a degree year or afterwards also, because that will help you doing your degree. Now what you can do is do your certifications along with it. No one is stopping you. And why you are doing certifications? Two things. You get a proper path, because in certifications they set like you have to do 1, 2, 3, and 10, 20 things. So okay, I need to these only do these 20 things. That's a set path in certification. That's one. So that's a proper learning path. The second is with certifications you can show it to anyone, like okay, I'm Microsoft certified or I'm Cisco certified. Okay, so that gives you some foot in the door. Okay, they will see, okay, this guy is a fresher, he is a graduate, but on top of it he has done some certification. So they say, okay, maybe this is a good candidate to do. So you are doing two things. uh, that's a added advantage, certifications. And the important thing is you are learning, because no one is giving you that opportunity. Like what is happening if you say, for example, do a CCNA, so you'll at least know what is a switch, what is a router, how to configure things. So you gain knowledge out of it, you learn. So that's an advantage of learning, because no one will say you ki, in a company they'll tell you, okay, please do these things. That's difficult to do. So certifications will help you gaining knowledge and also a foot in the door. uh, but there are things like don't do certifications only for the sake of certifications. You should be hands on. If someone is asking question to you, you should know what you have done, right? So just like education, what you have done in in your engineering or BSc, so god knows, like uh, it's difficult to explain everything. But if you say, for me, for example, I did my B, but I was more interested right from beginning into networks infrastructure. So my favorite subject was like TCP, IP, and networking. So anyone, for anyone, they know, okay, Shehzad knows more about networking. So if someone asks me in education, what is your favorite subject? Because for a student, what will you expect? Like they don't have any experience, so they will ask, okay, what is your favorite subject? So then at least you should say, okay, networking is my favorite subject, ask me anything. So you should be so confident in that, even in education. Similar thing for certifications. Don't do it just for the sake of doing it. You should learn, and you should be able to answer questions. So for me, like both education and certifications are important. So it's good to have both of. And if you are like young, for 12th you are like 18 years old, you can complete your education, like if that's a 3 years education in 21, if that's a B, you can do it in 4 years. So by 2022 you can have education as well as certifications both. That's a good thing to have.
Mm. Okay.
Lal, maybe if you want to add some things into this.
No, I want to add more on the CCA, the Cisco certifications, but that would be a bit complicated, so I don't want to
Yeah.
confuse further. So maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
let's
let's keep it
keep it
simple. Yeah.
simple,
Yeah.
education,
Yeah.
formal education, at least a graduate in any stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Preferably, science would be better, or maybe computer
Correct.
science, yeah. And after that, you can
Correct.
do certifications. That's how you get
Yeah.
into
So
the IT infrastructure career. Yeah,
yep.
we'll keep it
Yep.
at that.
Yes.
And
Good.
any questions from
Good summary.
anyone? Yeah, any questions from anyone? Uh, a power le gen take money power le dot take chini. Like apoy mo le ken kona translate sang dia. So we can ask. You can speak in our own language, and I will translate it to Cesar on your behalf. That's what I just said.
Yeah. Please talk
Yeah.
in your own language. That's fine. Maybe I'll learn some Paite.
Yeah. You, I'll teach you one right now. So you can say Chibai. Chibai means hello.
Chibai.
Yeah. Hello.
Chibai. Chibai. Okay. Good.
Any questions? Dot knock on here to Tana.
Chibai.
Ulau.
Ah,
So, here lama 11, 12 ai cái là high school cái lại cái không bằng in ka computer science này về vậy mà ai cái là content IT chỉ này vậy tu actually why te pen extra chẳng là dia BTech computer science và hiam cái là banga BSc computer science why te và to se lo le why te pen zang ina why ana zio sa teo ana ki develop to hen la line dang pai u hen la why te sun zom lo ina graduate khong degree khong nga to win hote na IT lam lung lut thak bang hileu dan again pen kaman chiang che ke yam IT lam bang lung lut bang hitaleu asko pom thodia mai ke le waya computer science te va hi po imo diam
okay.
BSc ti bang ma ai ke le BTech computer science ti e vai te ni ve
Okay. All right. So
I understood everything, Lal.
okay.
Sorry, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah.
All right. So what the question is? Let's say in our colleges or the high schools that we have in our place, they some of the schools and colleges they give an extra. They have an extra course which is related to IT. I'm not aware of what kind of what is the syllabus of that, but it's as an extra course. Some colleges or some schools has offered that. So the question
Okay.
is, for someone who has taken that extra course or subject, and then going up, let's say doing any graduation, will they have an advantage to that, or do they necessarily have to go through, let's say a B Tech or maybe BE or maybe a BCA, or can they use those extra courses which they have learned during their high school or high secondary and get into the IT field?
Again, as I told you, the criteria for education in India is for filtering. Okay. It's not like, you have to, it's not that, you can't do that job, but it makes their job easier for, 100 openings if 10,000 people are applying. So what they will do is, okay, we will only hire BCA or MCA. And there are few jobs wherein they say we won't hire BE students. Seriously, in IT infrastructure, they say we won't hire engineers. We want only BCA or BSc students. Reason is because if someone is doing his engineering, okay, so that guy probably would want to go into software or something, some other roles. But for IT infrastructure, people they say okay, BCA and BSc students are good fit for them because then they can mold them. There are less opportunities for these guys elsewhere, so they can mold them. So what I mean is, at least get a graduation. I won't suggest that you just do a course. That is helpful. Any knowledge is helpful, but being in India and not just losing out opportunity because you are not a graduate, don't do that. Do Okay, so let me put it this way. Even if you don't want to like do like the education part, do some BA thing like Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Commerce, which is easier. Like you can just uh, have 60% of marks in your subject and at least a graduate. Just do that, and side by side develop more your skills into IT infrastructure. Do certifications, that will help.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Maybe ask him if no that he understood, or you can translate this to him.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, he has given a thumbs up, so I guess he got it.
Yeah. So, see, education is not for skill development. It is. Uh, I mean, the sad thing is uh, that's a filtering criteria in India.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of our huge population. So, like you mentioned.
Someone somehow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Someone have to. It's not. Maybe if you go to US, Europe, they won't ask you. But then, you have to have at least 10, 12th degree. So on your passport, you won't get that ECR, like immigration
Yeah.
check required. They won't allow you. So it's if you ask me, it's always good to have at least some graduation.
Yeah.
Like okay, you are a graduate in. So please don't skip that part. You will also develop friends, go there, develop friendship with many other people, not only your region. So it's good to have that relationship. And believe me, friendship in schools and colleges, that is long lasting friendship, just like me and Lal.
Yeah.
Why we are here? Because we study together,
Yeah.
and we have that college bond, and that's why I'm here. And maybe if some that's a really strong bond. Lal can
True.
understand that. Yeah. So do education not only for these things, but develop your personality as well. Go talk to many different peoples, develop friendship. Maybe these friends will help help you in your future career. If there are some opportunities openings, I can go to Lal and I know he's doing process excellence. Or the other way, Lal knows in Tata, like there is a requirement for a network architect, he'll just talk to me, Shehzad, there is an opportunity, can you come? Right? So you build that bond in while you are studying. So I'll definitely I'll persuade you guys. I'll say, please do your education, please do your graduation, develop your personality, develop your bonding, your friendship there. It's not only for your these things, but this will help you in future also.
All right.
Yeah,
Would you like to move ahead or?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Certifications, as I talked, certifications will give you a proper path, because certifications is attached to your skills. How will you gain skills? The easier path for fresher is go for a certification that will give you some proper guides, videos, labs, and then you will develop your skills. So education is for the filtering criteria. Certifications is an added advantage that you know that part. So yeah, with that maybe we can move to next slide. But yeah, good. I like the discussions. Yeah. Okay, now we'll talk about advantages, demands, and challenges. Advantages, as I told, there are a lot of advantages when you go into IT infrastructure because you understand end to end. For example, in networking, because network touches everything. Even a server requires a network connection to connect. A storage requires a network connection to connect. Your applications, your complete internet. How the internet is built, it's on network. So being into IT infrastructure, you touch every part somewhere. So end to end, the complete picture. I mean, that's what I really like. I want to see everything end to end. So that's an advantage. You understand everything. The second advantage is the more you know different things, it will help you grow into your career. You cannot just learn one thing and say, okay, I'm done. Just like, we say Lal continuously upgrades and, studies. I continuously upgrade and study, because that gives us that advantage, a growth into our career. So being into IT, you have to be a student for life. If you ask me who am I say I am a student for life, and I like it. I really enjoy it. So because that gives you different, that gives you good opportunities, and there is demand for it in IT infrastructure. There are less people. For example, in security specifically, uh, there are uh, there are more requirements and there are less people into security. Okay. He's asking some question. How many certifications is a good base level to get into IT, provided that they are not cheap, and some entry level jobs? Yeah, that's correct. How do you pronounce it? Thangsuanlian.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
right?
correct. It's
Okay.
correct.
So yes, Thangsuanlian. That's correct. At least you can start with just one certification. See, because as I said, if you want to go into IT infrastructure, there are at least uh, three divisions to start with. You can start on servers, you can start on networks, or you can start on storage. In general, basically, that's three. But if you go into cloud, you have to understand all these three: servers, networks, storage, and many things. So my suggestion in there, no, that's a good question. Which actually I wanted to cover next, but let's talk it here. So my suggestion is, start with small, like, start with your laptop, how your, laptop, your hardware, your operating system works. That's a good start. Uh, Understand Linux. Linux operating system is like you will find everywhere in servers, or even in networking devices. Linux is everywhere in automation. So I'll definitely suggest everyone who is going into IT infrastructure, beat anything. You want to go into server or network or storage, Linux is a base thing. So, and it'll, because it's an open source thing, you get many different things out of it, So for start, you can start with like your own laptop, your operating system. Windows is good thing. You need to understand Windows and Linux. You need to understand at least these two parts. Uh, just for like, starting. When you go into, sorry, my electricity is gone, so you'll not see a bright Shehzad right now, but that's fine. You are able to hear me. So, talking on that, you should understand basic things: your laptop, Windows operating system, and Linux for sure. Beat any stream into IT infrastructure, please do Linux. Understand Linux operating system. That's free. There are many free YouTube videos. There are many tools out there where you can learn Linux. So that's one. Certifications, yes, you need to pay for that certification, and that's not, costly certification. I think 3,000, around 3 to 4,000 is what you pay for a certification. So that's one. And the moment you decided, okay, now I have to go into network or storage or server, do just one certification in that. That should be enough. If you want to go into, say, cloud, you can just do one AWS certification, or Azure certification, maybe AZ104. Okay, if that's a cloud. If that's a networking and Cisco, you can do CCNA. Okay, that's a first level certification. But basic is your laptop, Windows operating system, you should know. Linux, sure, you should know Linux. And then in specialization, you can go for CCNA, or you can go for MC, Microsoft certified. There are some certifications, I don't have it on top of my head. So one certification. So like, these 2 to 3 things should be okay.
But
But you should have like a very foundation knowledge into it. Everything you need to understand, or most of the thing. Sorry, Lal, you have a question?
that CCNA certifications, aren't they costly? I don't know the exact prices, but I
Oh
I
yes,
feel like
CCNA is
they're a bit
costly. Yeah.
costly.
Yeah,
any
yeah,
information you have there? How much does it cost?
yeah.
How much of preparation?
CCNA. For CCNA, you have to, like, if you are dedicating your time just for CCNA, like you are doing your education and doing your CCNA, around I can say around 4 to 6 months of time is for CCNA, just to understand the basic, and you are doing the foundation things. Because believe me, in cloud also, if even if you go into cloud, there is a lot of networking part to it, and people lack that that skill of understanding the IP address, how you subnet, how you form your vnets. So networking is definitely, I suggest Linux. Why I'm suggesting, because that is also touching everything, everything. Even if you go for some small devices, you will find a small tiny core on it. Just let me pull out CCNA certification, the cost for it. uh, Maybe give me a minute. If you want exact price, let me pull it out. Just give me a minute. I'll pull out the price. But yes, Lal, you are right. For Microsoft certifications, those are around 3 to 4 thousand. For a CCNA certification, it's not 3 to 4 thousand. It's a bit costlier. Schedule exam. I'm directly going for scheduling and CCNA exam because I am registered there. So
And
it's loading.
you also have to renew those certifications after
In 3 years, yes,
after
after
3 years.
3 years. This is for Cisco certifications, but for Microsoft certifications, the things vary. Uh, but if you ask me, if you have done those certifications, you would definitely get a job, and like your employer pays for your certification. Okay, I mean, if they know that you have done this certification, and uh,
Okay, it's around what, $300 from CCNA. That's what
yeah,
Sam
yeah,
said.
I'm logging into it. Yeah, I'm logging into it. I'm directly actually scheduling exam to understand what is the price, because here in India we have to pay the taxes on it as well, which is huge. Mm, Schedule now. I am scheduling that exam because you specifically asked for that exam. So it's a loaded site, and yeah, CCNA CCNA number. The exam number is 200-301. If you want to note it down. Next, okay. English. Next. Yes. I'll tell you exactly. Just give, bear with me for a few more seconds. I'll give you exact uh, thing. Okay, yes, it's $300. I see it now. If you want that,
Yeah. So I think it will be around what, 30,000 Indian rupees, 30,000
three,
plus.
three, 8 to 24, yeah, around 25 to 30,000, yes. That's a costly exam, CCNA. Yeah, but yeah, good point. Thank you. I was more talking more on the Microsoft exams. But it's even if you're not going for the exam, I would suggest, like, you can study for the CCNA, if even if you're not going for that, if you don't want to pay for that exam, but at least you should have an understanding. Microsoft exams are not that costly, around 3 to 4 thousand you get it. But yeah, Cisco is a bit costly. And don't ask about CCI exam, that is very much costly. So yeah, you have to pay somewhere around, uh, what, 2000 plus US dollars. So plus, you have to go to that center in Bangalore. In India, it's only you can do it in Bangalore. Okay, but you get rewards out of it. Uh, Sorry, I lost track. But yeah, it's education. I'll suggest, yes, go education, go certifications. Uh, but for CCNA, as I told, if you're not going for certification, then at least study for it. You should know, the basic thing, or what is there in CCNA. And any questions, Lal, on that part?
I not Nothing from my side right now.
Okay.
So we can move on and let's say we can go to the summary
Is
and
this the last slide? So good.
yeah, this is a last slide
Okay.
summary. So we
Okay.
can, yeah, we can summarize it in few minutes and open for Q and A. And after
Maybe
that,
no.
yes,
It's better if someone, I definitely ask, like, someone talk, like, what they understood, like at least something, whatever, one part, two parts summary. Chibai people talk. What you understood? Like, give me a summary. Yeah, Zachary Hangshing has raised a hand. Okay, Zachary, is that right?
yeah.
Yes. Do you want him to unmute, or what is it?
No, he can unmute himself, or maybe by mistake he has raised his hand.
No, no, he has to talk now. He has raised his hand. No,
Okay,
no
I
worries.
think yeah. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Okay. So in summary, as I told, it is a good field to come into IT infrastructure. How you can come into IT infrastructure? I said, do your graduation. That's a must. Not just for this, but for your whole life as well, career. And side by side, do your studies uh, and certifications, which are not very costly. So if you want to go for CCNA, even if you're not willing to pay for that certification, but I'll recommend you study for it. Do labs. There are numerous uh, l- free resources available. So yes, you can do that. So education, certification, studies. Uh, there are different fields in general, like network, server, storage. Security is one part which covers everything. You have to understand network, security, storage. Also, if you are going for any cloud certification, you have to understand everything: network, security, storage, and that's good. Go for like, if you want to start, go with, like, how your laptop works, how the Windows operating system works. Linux, definitely, I will suggest everyone should study Linux. Everyone should know Linux, no matter where, which specialization you are going. Go for it. Study Linux. It's very simple. It's very easy. Go for it. Most of the servers worldwide use Linux, so you have to understand Linux. What else? Uh, yeah, there is a field in cybersecurity as well. Like, we talk about security analyst. So that also That is also a good growing field. People are less in that, but then you have to understand what you need to secure: network, server, storage, applications, and then you can go into that cyber security domain. Further reading is the maybe see, the world is open, and with chat gpt, you just put a question to chat gpt, and you get answers. But then not everything is true what chat gpt tells. It will give you direction, if you ask me. Okay, and then maybe you can go and research more on that, how to do it. Chat gpt won't tell you how to what is you can say the lab things. You have to do it yourself. It will give you, okay, run this command if you ask it. But then actually you have to go run and simulate things. There are one part which I forgot to tell. There are simulations as well. Simulations is like, okay, you are not running it directly on the hardware. It just simulates the environment, and as you run the command, it will say, okay, for example, if you right click and do refresh, it will say, okay, the page is refreshed. Or you put some command, if you want to see what are the folders in my what are the files in my folder, you can give a dir command in your laptop. But in a simulation, it will show you, okay, give a dir command, it will give you some files. So that is a simulation. It just simulates what is out there in real hardware, and it gives you some idea of it. So you have to be hands on. Use chat gpt. I'll suggest use chat gpt. Not but you have to verify the answers. Don't take everything at face value. There are few things uh, that are not correct on it. I can make out, Lal can make out, because we are into this industry like since many years. But if you are not into IT industry, or you are just starting, so you just verify. It will just give you very focused approach where to look, and then you can go and actually do it for yourself. So further reading is, the world is open. You have many things. Wikipedia is a good source. At least you can, if not 100% correct, most of the things you'll find correct. So in IT infrastructure, to summarize, uh, uh, yeah, the world is open, and you just need to search and take your things into it. I mean, that's what I can summarize: education, skills, certification, hands-on, free resources. Uh, yeah,
Okay. Good.
and keep learning. Don't stop. Like it's like a water in a ditch. The if you keep it for 2 days, it gets spoiled, and if that water splashes on someone else, it's not be like a flowing river. Be like a river. Just flow. Just learn.
All right. All right. Before we close, I would, have a one. Let's open one more chance for any questions from anyone, and after that we will,
Yes.
yeah, see.
Once again, Chibai people, Chibai, where are you? I want to see you,
Bye.
or I want to listen to you. Please talk. Please show your
Bye.
face.
Bye.
Sibay.
Maybe Lal will teach me more words, and I'll maybe I'll come up with more Paite. I'll talk in Paite. I'll try to talk. Or something that you wanted me to cover. Maybe I'll try next time. You wanted some more insights. This is what in general, just an overview. I can go deep into few things if someone wants. So uh, your opinion matters as well.
Mm. Yeah, you can do that also.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question here.
Good question. Very good questions. Why do you think there is much more hype in software development and programming compared to IT jobs? Very good question. See, it's like uh, That's my take on it. In IT in general, if there are 1,000 people working in software, you just require 2 to 3 people, because that's the hardware that you need to manage. You don't require more people to manage your hardware or your things. Software is that's a continuous thing. In IT jobs, the things don't change daily. In software, you will find daily everything coming up, something new. Okay, so that's where there are more requirements, there are more people required in software development. In IT jobs, things don't change daily. It But I also don't say that things won't change long time. In IT also, things change in 3 to 5 years of time. So the shelf life of any technology in IT is also around 3 to 5 years. But in software development, you will find like daily or weekly something coming up new. So there are more, and because it's easier in IT infrastructure, you have to handle a physical things. In IT jobs, you have to handle physical things that can't change like daily. In software, it's just a code. You just code, and the next day, I'll give you a good example. In ChatGPT, when ChatGPT came up, everyone was on it, but there were also people like university professors that were thinking, okay, now it's so easy for people to work. There is one guy called Tian, and what is his name? I forgot his name. His last name is Tian. So he came up with a software called as GPT-0. So what his software is doing is it's just taking whatever if you submit your essays, for example, okay, in your college, and so it will take that essay, it will feed it in GPT-0, and it will tell you whether this essay was generated by a chat GPT or no. It will give you some things. It will say you, okay, uh, this essay is developed by chat GPT. It will tell you like percentage wise, 40%, 50%, because that's so easy. And that guy developed that software in just 3 days. Just 3 days he developed GPT-0. Okay, so it's easier because they don't have to deal with hardware aspects of infrastructure. So it's easier for people in software development to develop things in few days. They don't have to deal with hardware. But for IT jobs, we have to deal with hardware that doesn't change so huge, and that's why we don't require more people into IT jobs. So say for 1,000 people in my company also, we have 5,000 people. We are a team of only 10 people in IT infrastructure, and that to segregation. We are 3 people do this, 3 people do that. So that's a reality, because things don't change very drastically in infrastructure. Like in 3 to 5 years it change, but not like daily, just like software. I hope that answers your question. It's easier not for people to develop software like in a week you will see some new software, but it's not true for infrastructure, and that's why it's there are not like opportunities just like software. But if you're really good in your IT jobs, I have seen people like they are really doing better than software guys as well, because these people are few. You won't find many software, you won't find many engineers, IT job engineers. But you have to be best, you have to be a flowing river. You can't do just one thing for lifetime. Lal, does that make sense? Have I answered
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I think that does.
Maybe okay. He's happy. Okay.
Okay, let's take maybe one last question before we close this thing.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. Yep.
yeah. Any more questions from anyone?
I'm surprised that you know still there are 10 people along with.
Yeah, after one
Else
hour and a half.
the yeah, yeah, 1 hour and a half.
Yeah,
That's a good thing. Good job.
yeah.
Good job, Lal. Yeah.
All right, then we'll end the webinar at this time because it's going to stretch a bit more further. So we don't want to do that.
No,
So thank you.
tell me one more thing. You
Uh-huh.
told me hello is hi.
Mm.
What is bye? Like see
Bye
you or
means
bye?
mangpa.
Mangpa.
Mangpa. Yeah,
Mangpa.
means
Okay.
bye. So thank you, Cesar.
After you.
Yeah, after me you can say that. Yeah.
Uh,
So thank you, Cesar, for spending your time here with us today and sharing the experiences and then giving us advices and suggestions and all those insights. So thank you so much for your time and as well as for the support that you have been giving us or giving me, I would say, and me and my team for this project. So thank you so much for that. And I also want to say
I'm
one.
really happy to. Yeah. Sorry.
Mm,
Please go ahead. Yeah.
okay. So I'm also very happy to see a lot of people, some close friends or long-term friends who have been joining these sessions, even though they're not a student anymore, but as a moral support and for them also it's a learning, I believe. So thank you so much for all those people who keep on joining and also for especially for those people who have joined today and still till the end of this session. So thank you each and everyone and hopefully I would see you in the next webinar that happens every Saturday. So that's all for today. So we can say Mangpa now, Cesar.
Thank you, Lal, and thank you everyone for being so patient listener. I wasn't expecting that you'll be here for so long time. So thank you, Lal, for the opportunity, and I am happy to discuss more like individually basis as well. If someone wants, you can take my contact details from Lal, and it was really nice to be with you and learn two Paite words,
Mm.
Chibai
And
and
Mangpa.
Mangpa.
Yeah. Okay then. We'll say
So Mangpa.
Mangpa. All right.